Okay, now we're going to start with something that has a little bit more changes. We're going to look at Lazy Bird. It's a train tune. It's got a lot of changes, and it goes back and forth between an A major tonality. I'm all in tenor key now, and goes back and forth between an A major tonality, a C major tonality, and an F major tonality. With a bridge that is a tritone away from F, so B major bridge, then going back to an A major. So it's an ABA tune, and it's got a lot of changes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a chorus, and then we're going to go back and we're going to look at different things we can do to attack this chorus. 1, 2, 1. Okay, so nothing too crazy there. A lot of diatonic and bebop lines, some bebop scales, arpeggios, nothing crazy. So when you're first approaching a tune like this, like I did, I always looked for maybe sequences where I can attack those first few measures of the tune. Remember, a sequence is a good musical tool, and if you've taken any sort of conventional theory class, you can get away with a sequence 3 times. As long as you, I mean, generally speaking, right? And in a tune like this with really functional harmony, you kind of want to stick to that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some sequences that we can use in that first part of the tune. So the first chord is B minor, so I've got my B minor sequence. The second chord, or in the next measure, is D minor 7. And then it goes down to a G minor 7. And then C7 and F7 follow behind it. So your sequence should be something that eventually resolves in F. Okay? So something like this. 2, 3, 4. Ended on 3, 5 of F. And then I'm ready to go on to the next change, which is just another 2, 5 and A. Pretty simple. And then Lazy Bird, they have these little turnarounds. So right in between there's a chromatic turnaround going from B flat minor, E flat 7, back to B minor 7, E7. So that's one option, to have that kind of sequence. Another sequence could be this. Okay, again, using sequence and kind of trying to make a motif out of it. So that's another option for attacking that particular section of the tune. So when you get to the B section, you're done with sequences. You want to put together a line, or at least try to put together a line that's going to cover that standard 2-5-1 in B major. Not the easiest thing on saxophone. On alto, it's F sharp major. So Okay, so I played through the B section and went on and did the A section. So there's some options there, some different sequences, some different lines. Learn your lines over the hard keys, over the 4, 5, 6 sharps, 4, 5, and 6 flats. You have to do it, so get on it. You learn all your arpeggios, you learn all your diatonic arpeggios, all your scales. You got to work on all of those. So the next thing you could do is you could play with the diminished scale over the different dominant 7 chords that come along, or at least the dominant 7 families that come along. So what I'm going to do is when I hit the G minor 7 there in the first line of the tune, it would be measure 3, I'm going to go into diminished scale. Okay, so there I did a lot of different things with the diminished scale. Now I can also play different intervallic things with the diminished scale, and I'm not talking about necessarily playing thirds up and down the scale, although if you could do that, great. But you can take, you know, your diminished chord, and of course when we're talking jazz and we're talking the half-step diminished scale, we're talking about a series of 4 tones, and in those 4 tones contains the root for any diminished chord that could fit with that scale. So for instance, when I get to that G minor, I can play a C 7 bebop lick, an F sharp 7 bebop lick, an E flat 7 bebop lick, or an A bebop lick. So I could do something like this. So that would sound like this. Not exactly like that. Let me do a better job. There, that sounded better. So it gives it a little bit more of an angular type of thing. You're not just approaching everything by line. Phil Woods, I've heard, do something like this. Only he does it twice as fast. And the way I just did that, I could end on the 5 of F. So you want to look for different resolutions like that. So that's really the things that are coming to mind right now when you're learning a chart like this. Don't be afraid of playing patterns. Patterns are a springboard for more vocabulary when you're doing a song like this with lots of changes that are going by fast. And playing patterns on a song like this, they're going to increase your confidence because your fingers are going to realize that they know where to go, and then move on from those patterns into something more original, into something more lyrical. So that is my approach to Lazy Bird, and I hope something that helped you. Thanks, bye.